Here are 5 techniques that are going to help you generate more sales. Number 1, active listening. It's important that we're always listening, not just hearing, not just waiting to speak and put out our own words. And you know what happens sometimes when you go and you introduce yourself to somebody and you meet them for the first time and all you're thinking about is telling them what your name is. You totally missed what their name was. Well, think about that. If we're not actively listening, we're going to miss some important information. Now, when we get into sales, it's important to understand that. We can't just hear people. We can't just be there for our own motive. We've got to be thinking about what it is that they want. Ultimately trying to achieve what it is they want. Think about that one, right? They're doing this for a reason. They're engaging with you for a reason. They're asking questions for a reason. They've made a decision for a reason. Or, well, have they? You see, if we don't ask the right questions and then we don't listen for the answer, we're never going to figure out what their need is. What is their ultimate motive? And I'll give you an example here. I was talking to a client the other day, talking to some potential new buyers, people that want to get into the market. They want some more information. So what is he doing? He's sending that information. What else is he doing? He's doing the follow-up that he needs to be. Excellent. But he's not necessarily getting to the results that he wants. Why? Well, because he's doing what they've asked him to do. Send us some info. He's doing what he thinks he needs to do in order to close that deal. Sending them some info. But we haven't fully done is we haven't asked the right questions. We haven't dug for the need. We haven't figured out their motive. Once we figure out their motive, once we establish timelines, now we know why it is that they have thought about doing this. We know why they're engaged with us. And then we can leverage that as the back end to, hey, did you look at the information I sent you? Do you have any questions about it? And when they're sort of, dragging ass a little bit and they're not necessarily answering the questions that we've got for them and they're just taking their time, we can then go back because we listened to what it is that they ultimately want to achieve. Then we can leverage what they want to achieve to remind them, hey, you've got this goal, you've got this timeline, this thing that you want to get to. I want to help you get there. Let's keep moving. So by actively listening and asking the open-ended questions, you're going to put yourself in a better position to gain a lot more clients and close a lot more deals. Technique number 2. This is all about building rapport with other people. Again, getting to know those people, understanding well beyond the business that you guys are about to engage in, potentially together. Understanding what are they about? Who are they? What do they like and what do they love? And this is something that we've talked about oftentimes about building out your lifestyle list to understand who you are. Well, the more you understand who you are, the more you understand who they are, now you can build rapport about something that you potentially have in common. Looking for those commonalities together, whether it's, favorite sports teams, or maybe you've got sports teams that are rivals together. Maybe it's going on vacation and being interested in where they went. Maybe it's about family. Maybe it's about common interests. We always want to work to build that rapport, and that's what we call the small talk, right? Having that conversation with people. But so much better than just the birds and the bees or the weather. Once we can truly understand who they are from a personal perspective, maybe in a family environment, an occupational perspective, what they're doing for work and how that's going, a recreational perspective, what do they like to do, and even a dream perspective. What are those big aspirations you have, or maybe these exciting things that you got coming up? The more we can ask those questions, and again, going back to step number 1, the active listening. Well, the more we're actively listening and we're asking the right questions, that takes us to step number 2 of building that rapport. Here's technique number 3 for you. Ask the right questions. Wow, how this all ties right back to the same stuff from step number 1 and step number 2 of actively listening and building rapport. When you do ask those right questions, and not just the questions that, again, you want to achieve, but you're digging, you're asking open-ended questions, which start with what, why, how, when. Really, how do you feel about that? Interesting. Tell me more. You see, by asking these questions, we're going to be able to dig. We're going to be able to learn more. We're going to allow the person on the other end of the questions who's actually doing the answering to do a lot more speaking. And the more speaking they do, the more active listening we do, the more rapport we're building. Well, now we're getting ourselves closer to figure out exactly the information we need to in order to help them, again, get to where they want to go. Step number 4 here, technique number 4, is about offering value. What can you offer to these people to make them look at you as somebody who they can keep coming back to? See, in sales, we talk about being their trusted advisor, really being at that top level, that peak, that place that when they've got a question about pretty much anything, they trust enough in you to ask for your opinion. The more value that we offer to people along the way on a regular basis, be it through video, be it through social media content, be it through email content, be it through phone conversations with people, even just getting together with people. The more value that we offer, the more they will look at us as a resource. And when we're a positive resource for them, they're going to keep coming back. Technique number 5, overcoming objections. Listen, people are always going to set themselves up to say no to you. In fact, most of the time when you're asking a question or you're going for that sale, you've already set yourself up for people to tell you no. But I want to remind you, embrace rejection. Really enjoy the fact that people are telling you no. See, the more no's you get, you've got to look back and say to yourself, hey, I'm asking lots of questions. I'm creating lots of opportunities for myself. Of course I'm going to get objections. Now it's a matter of how do we handle those objections? And in terms of the handling, this all goes right back to understanding what it is that they want. This goes back to you having a real good knowledge about your market and about what it is that you do for a living. See, the more you know, the more you educate yourself on a regular basis, the more you're going to have the answers to all of those questions and all of those objections that they're coming up with. So when it comes to sales techniques, handling objections and having that thick skin and that mindset to be able to deal with it, that is right there at the forefront for you to have success as well as live a much happier life. And the last one here, number 6. Well, hey, money, your fortune is in the follow-up. See, we've all heard that line before, the riches are in the niches. Well, the full sentence to that is that the fortune is in the follow-up. That's where the finishing part to that is. So think about that. How many times did you call? How many times did you email? How many times did you text? How many conversations have you had? How many times did you try to reconnect? Well, I left them one voicemail, they never called me back. Or I sent them an email, they never replied. And that's it? See, that can't be it. We know that we've got to be following up with people a minimum 5 to 8 times if we even want them to hear what we're saying. We want them to pay attention and then to start listening. You see, to get them to actively listen, we've got to be in touch more than once. We've got to know that they're ready to say no. They don't want to spend money. But we want to help them get there. In order to do so, we've got to show them we care enough to keep coming back. And it's not that people are putting you to the test that they're not going to, they're going to wait to see if you do it 5 to 8 times. What it is more so is that people will inquire, they will gather the information they want, then they need some time to break it down, to dissect it, to understand whether it's something that they actually want to, take action on and move on next steps. But that might take some time. There might be some procrastination. Maybe they got some other questions. If we're not following up, we're never going to know why they're waiting. We're never going to know what those questions are. We're never going to be able to dig for the need enough and, again, actively listen so that we can try to satisfy that need. But when we do the follow-up and we do it enough times and we show them we care and we're consistent enough and we build the rapport and we offer the value, well, now we've put ourselves in a great position to get that deal, to get that business, to even get more repeat and referral business, which, well, hey, there's your lowest hanging fruit. There's the easiest stuff we want to get on a regular basis. Leverage all 6 of those techniques to get your next deal.